Everybody, welcome. It's Thursday, June 2nd, 2022. It's JP Alexander for the Rabbit Dogs Unleashed. And who are the Rabbit Dogs? Me at this point. And I've been saying for a while, hopefully, I'll get some more people to join me, some friends of mine or whatever. How many friends does this guy got? Yeah. Anyway, today I'm here to talk about a show that I love that I've been watching religiously since it came out, and the show that it's a spinoff from. I'm talking about Better Call Saul. I love the show. I think it's just a step below Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad, if that's a 10, this is a 9.6. It's good. A very good show. Very good show. Made by the same people who made Breaking Bad. Very good. Very excellent written show. Fantastic. I can't highly recommend it enough. If you haven't watched Breaking Bad and then this, I don't. Or you watch this into Breaking Bad. Whatever you got to do. It's just a great show. And at the moment we're in season 6, the midway point. We finished 7 episodes, which is the first half of season 6. I don't know how many more, maybe 6 or 7 episodes left. And they have a little break in between, kind of like what they did with Breaking Bad in the last year. The 5th season of Breaking Bad was kind of like this. And then this series already has lasted longer than Breaking Bad, which to me is fine, because when this goes, what next? I mean, we could, pretty much, we already have a sequel after this, after Breaking Bad. This is a prequel, which was scenes in this, which show Saul, aka Jimmy McGill, aka Gene, who we're gonna see. You've seen already, has scenes after Breaking Bad. It shows, and that is when I'm going to go into my explanation of what I think is going to happen for the rest of the season and the show to its climax. I think the scenes that a few episodes ago it showed of them emptying Saul's house, this big, nice, beautiful house with all these, great things in it. That's saying that Saul has money, and we assume, most people assume, it's from Breaking Bad. After Breaking Bad, before he becomes Gene, they go to his house and empty his house, and that's what happens. I actually think it's not. I think it's from this season, the end of this season. I think he becomes rich with his wife. Uh, yeah, Kim Wexler and him become very rich in the second half of this season, which might be a few months after, might be a year. They might say a year later, and then the second half comes. Who knows? But they become rich, and I think this is just my opinion. Of course, I have no knowledge of what the writers are writing, so I think they become rich, and that's them living a great lifestyle and doing great in their law practices, and they have cartel drug money, and they're doing. Law lets them live, of course, because anybody you see. Oh, major spoiler alerts. Oh, okay. I don't, whatever. Major spoiler alerts. Okay. If you haven't watched or don't, tune in, and there's no reason you shouldn't have watched it until now. Dying for the second half of season 6. So anyway, I think Lalo lets them go, even though he did kill Howard. He lets them go, and he hooks them up with a lot of money, helping Lalo out. And I don't think Lalo gets killed. I think Lalo goes to jail. Believe it or not, I think Lalo goes to jail. That's why in Breaking Bad, Jimmy Saul gets kidnapped by Walter White and Jesse Pinkman, and he says, "Did Lalo send you?" I think because Lalo's still alive, and he thinks Lalo's in jail, and Lalo might send somebody who's in jail with Lalo when he gets out to go kill them. I kill him. I believe that might be a possibility. We all assume Lalo dies. No, I think Lalo lives, but I think he goes to jail or he goes somewhere else to escape the United States. Okay, that's what I think. I think Kim dies though. Kim Kim has to die. Kim either dies or leaves them, but I think Kim dies, and I think that's why Jimmy he gives up all that shit. But then again, he is a lawyer in the second one. He's a lawyer in Breaking Bad. Sorry, the second one, lawyer in Breaking Bad. So what is that? Well, he basically that's all he could do, and he's basically a struggling lawyer. And Walter White's his big whale. He gets he lands, and he's like, hey, I'm a criminal attorney. Okay, but and then he starts to go back on his on the what he was doing here. Here was just the beginning of what becomes of him, and then when he gets Walter White, he gets his big fish, and he becomes that again. So I think that's what is going to happen. I hope that's what happens. I hope I'm right about this, but I don't think it's as we can all guess about what's going to happen. I knew Howard was going to die, and it's funny. Well, it's not funny. It's actually kind of tragic, but the second Howard was killed, you feel horrible for Howard. You feel like what Jimmy and Kim have been doing was not all fun and games. And it seemed you're watching the first half of season 6, and you see Saul, Jimmy, and Kim are playing these games with Howard, and that's one aspect of it. Plus, you see all this stuff going on with the cartel and with Lalo and Mike and Gus. And it's completely much more serious than that. But there's a certain time when it comes in, they all both come into each other. It's like a road coming into each other, and accidents happen. I used to live on this good metaphor, good to compare. I lived at the street once that it was a red light in front of our house. Me and my friend Tom shared this house, and it was a red light. And this highway was going, and it's a highway. It means no lights. It's a highway. It's a fast highway. People going 90 miles an hour on the highway, And then it turns, it blends into this Vets Highway, which is another highway. It's not a freeway like the other one was. It's called a highway, but it's really not. It's got red lights, and it goes through, areas with a strip malls. It's basically like your common road in the United States, which is a combination of road and street. The worst of both worlds, so to speak. But these two roads kind of come into each other, and people on the parkway, the Northern State Parkway, people might know where this is, it comes into Vets, and it becomes Vets. It kind of stops, but a lot of people don't know that, so they're going quite fast, and they blend into traffic like, oh, it's just people. You would assume, a lot of people would assume that these people from the left are blending into our street. Oh, they're blending into the highway, but they're not. You're blending into Vets, and Vets has lights. So the light in front of my house that I share with my friend, the house we rented, was that first light. So we would hear crash, or we'd hear brakes screeching all the time because people were going fast and didn't realize, oh, there's lights. And when you're driving down a parkway, you don't have the mentality that there's lights because there's not lights. So you're driving without looking up at lights. And sometimes I think you subconsciously look up at lights when you're driving down the street. Like, where's the lights? And here you're going down the street and you're not even thinking about lights. The whole comprehension of lights is not on your mind. So you're just going, blah, 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 blah. And suddenly the cars next to you are slowing down and you're like, what's going on? And suddenly you look up and there's a light and cars are stopped. And you're like, what the hell are these cars doing stopped? That might even be before you see the light. That's this. This is a perfect metaphor for what happens here. They're playing games. They're doing this shit with Howard, and then suddenly Lalo comes to visit, and the two worlds collide. And again, it's like the worst accident you can pretty much see in front of the house I shared with my friend. Somebody going 90 miles an hour and saying, hey, why are these cars slowing down? Oh my God, douche. It's terrible, and that's exactly what happens here. Howard gets killed, but you saw it kind of happening, like what, Saul and Kim were doing was playing fire, and it wasn't good. It's like you don't understand what you've gotten yourself into. When you're in business with a Lalo, a Mike, a Trout, a Gus Fring, you're in business with these people and you're playing games. I don't think it's time to be playing games. So, yeah, that's when the boat walls colliding was bad. But once Howard is shot, and you see Howard dead, you start to think about, hey, Howard wasn't a bad guy. He was actually a good guy. He was not bad at all. He actually took the heat when Chuck, Jimmy's brother, Saul, Jimmy's brother, um, didn't want Jimmy to work on the Piper case, Sandpiper, or whatever. He didn't want him to work on the case. So Howard made it seem like he didn't want him to work on the case, just to cover for Chuck. And it was Chuck who didn't want him to work on the case. He didn't want Chuck to look bad in his brother's eyes, but Chuck was the real asshole, let's say. And Howard, you feel bad for Howard. His wife, he's in the middle of a breakup. He's trying to make amends with his wife. She wants nothing to do with it. She seems like a shallow bitch to me who wants nothing to do with Howard. And you kind of feel bad for him. He goes to work. He tries to be the best lawyer he could possibly be. And then this happens to him because he got, in the world of Jimmy and Kim. Kim is no better. So it's really, bad. But I think Kim has to die to show Jimmy some humanity, and that's why he goes the rest of Breaking Bad without a girlfriend, another guy, and he's just joking around because life is just one big joke to him now. He doesn't take anything seriously. He doesn't get emotions because I think all emotions are spent in Breaking Bad. But I think what's going to happen at the end of Breaking Bad when we see Gene, I think the end of Better Call Saul is going to spend some time focusing on Gene, the last episode of Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul, at the end of season 6. At the end of this season, maybe 6, 7 more episodes, you're going to see what happens with Gene. I think Gene gets killed by Lalo. Wouldn't that be something? If Gene comes out of nowhere trying to find out, I don't know, that taxi driver who recognized him or something, and suddenly, all of a sudden, there's a Lalo, and Lalo kills him. Wouldn't that be a great wow? That would be a great way to go out, wouldn't it? Lalo kills him. I think that might happen. I would actually love for that to happen, and I'd be right also. So Lalo lets him go. Okay. Lalo makes a deal with them to make them a lot of money. They become rich, and that's what you see when they're cleaning the house out. That's not the end of Breaking Bad. That's the end of Better Call Saul. Okay. Kim dies. I don't know how, but Kim dies. And Lalo goes to jail or leaves the country and kills Gene at the end of the whole thing. That's my guess. That's my 2 cents, whatever is that worth. That's worth, And I have to say, probably not even worth 2 cents. That's just what I guess, And I'm not going to go into any big long explanations why I guess that. I would like to see that myself. Whether that's going to happen or not, I think I'm reaching for all that to happen. That would be a shock if I guessed it all, but because people are thinking Lalo must die. But if Lalo dies, Jimmy has to think he's not dead because Jimmy thinks Lalo's still after him in Breaking Bad. So, I don't know. I think Lalo lives. That's my opinion, but most people think he dies. Okay. Kim, everybody thinks Kim has to die. Or Kim will go away or something. No, I think Kim has to die. To show Jimmy turning into what he is. But what a lot of people don't think, they think that scene of the FBI or whatever it is, cleaning out Jimmy's house of all his stuff, is at the end of Breaking Bad. I think it's the end of Better Call Saul. I think that's what's going to happen. I think he becomes rich with Kim, and they come back a year later in the next episodes. They come back a year later, and they're rich, and they're doing drug lawyering for the drug cartel. They're making millions of dollars, and they enjoy it, and they're having a great fucking time. And then suddenly, boom, shit hits the fan. Kim gets killed. Jim, see, Jimmy loses the money somehow, and then in Breaking Bad, he becomes a lawyer, which is all he knows how to do, and he lands a big fish, and he goes back to that life. But I don't think he ever makes as much money in Breaking Bad as he does in this show. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but that's just my opinion on this. And yeah, I've been watching this show. Like again, I'm waiting for it to come back. I'm like, geez, you gotta wait, you know. And I've been watching the Godfather, making the Godfather show, The Offer, which has been, not as good in the beginning as it was now, but it's still okay. It's still watchable. I haven't watched the Kenobi series yet because I don't have Disney Plus, and also, I don't know. I mean, I like Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, and I'm so glad Hayden Christensen is coming back as Darth Vader. I thought he got the short end of the stick on. I thought he had the worst lines of anybody had to speak. So I don't think he's a bad actor. I think he was just given shit to act with in the prequels. But as bad as the prequels were, they're still better than the sequels. They're still better than parts 7, 8, and 9. I think are better than The Mandalorian. Okay, The Mandalorian. What I've seen of it so far, which is only a few episodes, I liked it. I didn't like. I don't know about Boba Fett. I just heard some things about it that weren't good, and I hear Obi-Wan so far isn't good. But my fear, I kind of wanted to avoid Obi-Wan Kenobi because, like all the other Kathleen Kennedy Star Wars, all the other Disney Star Wars properties, it's just been shit. It's just been like trying to break down the characters we grew up with and introduce new ones that are not nearly as interesting. And not just break down the characters, just kind of almost step on them and say, how dare you, the audience, like these characters? We got some new characters you're going to like. And they introduced us to, I don't know. I mean, and I feared Obi-Wan would not be about Obi-Wan, and I hear that's what's happening. It's not about Obi-Wan. It's about the Inquisitors, which I guess have been introduced in some of the comics. And Weaver, of course, they have to have a black female. They have to, because they're trying. I don't know what the. This is the thing I don't understand. Star Wars has always been, and this is a racial thing. It's not because she's black, or not because she's a woman. It's not a racist or sexist thing. But Star Wars was owned by us. I was 11 when the first one had come out. I saw all three of them, and I loved them because I was young. But it was not. It was for us, and it was for the geeks who hung around in their parents' basement who couldn't get laid. It was for us. It was for me when I was young, and girls wouldn't look at me. And when I went to high school, I was like pimple faced. That's what it was for. It was for me looking at Princess. Leia in that a bikini. That's what it was for. That was my dream girl. That was what it was for. It was for me. Okay, now they stole it from me and they're giving it to the women who wouldn't give us the time of day. The women who are avoiding us in grade school and middle school and high school. Those women, they're giving it to now. How fucking dare you? How dare you take my childhood, what I owned and the other geeks, okay? My friends, we owned this shit. We owned it. It was ours. And you took it and you fucking stole it from us and you gave it to the women who wouldn't give us the time of day. Fuck you. You give it to the good-looking people. Fuck you. That's what annoys the shit out of me, is that you took the geek paradise that was Star Wars and you ruined it. You said, Luke, fuck that. Harrison Ford is Han Solo. Fuck that. What do you give us? You give us a wimpy man, Kylo Ren, crying a little bit. Well, that's what we're supposed to aspire to? We don't want to see that. You give us Daisy Ridley, whatever her name is, as Rey, and she's okay. I guess, but it's basically saying, oh no, like a Terminator. John Connor wasn't the future of the world. This Mexican girl is now. Okay, I guess Luke wasn't the future. Rey's the future. Okay, thanks for stealing my childhood my childhood. Thanks for stealing my childhood and stealing it for yourself. And you give us this. Again, not because they're women or because they're African Americans, not because of any of that. Because you're not even paying homage to okay, you're knocking them down. I mean, and even the prequels, you already knocked down Luke and Solo. You already knocked them down. Thank you very much for taking the two characters of my childhood who I loved and just fucking demasculating them and making them irrelevant and getting killed and just flick them away. Thank you for doing that. Now you're taking the prequels. The prequels, you're taking the style of that. You're taking, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, and you might as well flick him away. The only thing is he can't die because, you gotta keep some continuity, I would think, right? One of the things I didn't want about this show, and I'm going into an Obi-Wan rant, and I really probably shouldn't because I should save that for another video, but I am going through an Obi-Wan rant because I'm thinking about it a lot, and it's like, where's the continuity? Obi-Wan is not supposed to meet Darth Vader until episode 4. In between 3 and 4, he's supposed to be a hermit, living on his planet, keeping a low profile so nobody finds him. So far, in Obi-Wan, I've read a lot about Obi-Wan. I've seen spoiler. I've seen it all. I feel like I've seen the show already. Okay, because I've basically studied every scene of every episode so far, which is 3, I think, so far. 3, the German 3, not the English 3. Stupid. Anyway, yeah. So the continuity is out the window because it's like he wasn't supposed to. It's almost like they're fighting in episode 4, and Darth Vader goes, "Before, when I met you, you were the master, and I was but the student. But now I am the master." And then Kenobi goes, "Oh, only the master of evil, Darth." But really, he should have said, "Hey, dude, we met 10 years ago." Oh, wow, I forgot about that. That's right. And when we met, I wasn't a student and you weren't the master anymore. I was Darth Vader and you were this, getting older age old man. But, of course, the continuity is out the window on that one. And I would have liked an Obi-Wan where he's just showing him on Tatooine, the planet, being a hermit. And suddenly maybe he has problems with the sand people and the Jawas or something, and he's just there, and maybe Lars knows about him, but Lars says, "Hey, keep your distance away from Luke," and he does, but he sees Luke from afar, and he's always kind of there watching Luke. That's why when Luke is out there in the Forbidden Zone or whatever, and he gets attacked by the sand people, he's there to help him. And I think he's there and he sees R2-D2 and C-3PO, and he's like, shit, these guys are from my past. I remember them, but they don't remember him. And I think for some reason, I think their memories were erased or something, which could explain that. So that would have been good, but no, they're ruining all the continuity just to give fan service. And they got to get fan service because they don't have anything else. Everything they have is shit compared to what Lucas had given us. Wouldn't it be have paid Lucas $4 billion and still have him as a consultant and say, Lucas was going to give them his treatment for 7, 8, 9. They basically threw it away so they can give us basically a remake of A New Hope and 2 very subpar films. Actually, I've said this before. I hated the Last Jedi so much that I swore off Star Wars films, and I haven't seen the movie Ye Solo, and I haven't seen the House of Skywalker or there's something. I haven't seen those 2. I haven't seen I haven't seen the standalone Solo, and I haven't seen Part 9, and I've only watched 3, 4 episodes of the Mandalorian, and that's okay. That's not great, not as good as the first 3 films, of course, but it's still better than the 3 sequels. And let me say Rogue One was pretty good. I actually liked Rogue One. Rogue One was not bad. Part 7 was also not terrible, but I liked it much better when it was called A New Hope. Anyway, that's all the ranting I have to do for today. I'm sorry I haven't been on here for quite some time, and you haven't watched me, if any of you were watching me anyway, in quite some time, anybody who likes these videos saying, where is more of the Rabbit Dogs Unleashed? I doubt people are saying, I wish this guy would make some more videos. So anyway, on that note, that's all I have to say so far on the rant, and that was my Obi-Wan rant when I shouldn't have gone on that because I was here to talk about Better Call Saul. But, all these shows kind of are coming out, must-watch shows. And actually, tomorrow I'm going to see, I got tickets already for a 12 o'clock showing of Maverick. And, okay, let me rant a little bit about Maverick. I really didn't want to see it because I was not a huge fan of the first Star Wars. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to save this for another rant. I'm going to watch the movie first. I'm going to come back with a review of the movie and tell you why I initially didn't want to see it and why I end up sucking it up and learning to love the bomb. And if any of you know that reference, please put it in the comments below. I'll write back. Anybody who puts in the comments below and says they know what that reference is from, I will give you a shout out. Probably in my next video. Anyway, that's all I have to say about this. That's been JP Alexander for the Rubber Dogs Unleashed. And until next time, ciao.